Start in a seated position. Maybe Sukhasana with the legs crossed. Maybe you want to sit with the legs extended, maybe a little further apart, just to make sure you're comfortable. You're also welcome to do this first section sitting in a chair. Once you get in, let the hands rest on the tops of the thighs. Before we do another single thing, shift your weight from side to side and just take a moment to feel the connection between your body and the floor or the surface you're sitting on. You'll feel those two little bony spots, your sits bones. So give yourself a moment and just wiggle your way into a comfortable position. Once you arrive, let the hands rest on the tops of the thighs. Take a deep inhale, lengthen through the spine. And then exhale, relax the shoulders down. Take a moment, close the eyes, and just invite maybe some free movement shifting from side to side. But start connecting with deeper, longer breaths, bigger inhales, filling the belly with air, and then exhaling, grounding the body down. Take 2 or 3 more breaths to just check in and see how you feel today. Next time you inhale, maybe fill the belly with air, fill the chest with air, allow the body to expand to the sides and up, and then exhale, relax the shoulders down, but keep that length throughout the spine. Inviting longer and deeper breaths in. Maybe pausing in that instance between the inhale and the exhale in that next breath cycle. Maybe little by little finding stillness and just connecting with that inner gaze, feeling what's going on deep inside the body. And take one more breath, just like that. And on our next inhale, we're just going to bring the arms out to the sides. And then exhale, let them relax down to the floor. Following with some movement, inhale, bring the arms out and up. And then exhale, turn the palms down, let it go. Keep this going, and we're going to flow through these 2 ranges of motion. And what you'll notice is little by little, the breath is going to allow these movements to grow. Exhale, bringing the chin to chest. Let's do that one more time. Inhale to rise. Exhale to lower. Inhaling on the expansion. And this time we reach. Bring the fingertips up towards the ceiling. Let the shoulders crowd the ears if just for a moment. And then exhale. Let the hands make their way down to the floor or back to the tops of the thighs. But this time you're going to let the head just completely drop. And maybe not the head, no. Maybe not, yes. Bringing chin to chest. Taking here a couple of breaths where you're inviting movement again. So if you feel like you need to sway a little bit, this is the time to do it. And take 2 or 3 breaths, maybe finding that stillness. And on the next inhale, unfurl the spine and roll your way back up. Good. Inhale, lengthen once more through the spine, and then exhale, turn the head to the right. Inhale, coming back to center. Exhale, turning your left. Head to the left. Bring the hands to heart center, going a little deeper into this. So inhale, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, turn the head. Take the gaze over to that right side and then follow the gaze, turning your midsection, your torso, shoulders even, thumb is still aligned with the sternum. Take the left hand and put it to the outside of the right thigh. Right hand comes behind us using those points of leverage. Inhale, lengthen through the spine, and then exhale, twist. Notice now you can take that gaze a little further back, invite it in. And take one more breath here. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, deepen the twist. From this twist, start sending the right fingertips away, away, away. Try to keep that length. Once your shoulder finds that edge where the arm can't really lift too much more, turn the palm up. Inhale, we take a lateral stretch up and over to the left side. Left hand is anchoring us. Exhale, keep that twist going. This time we are twisting towards the ceiling thanks to that lateral stretch. Good. Take that next inhale to carve through the air with the fingertips coming back to that upright position. Good. See if you can let go of those anchor points, bringing the hands right back to heart center, keeping the spine nice and long. Make your way back to the middle. Inhale, bring the arms up towards the sky. And then exhale, turn the palms down, bring the chin to chest. Take all the time that you need. Taking it to the other side, bringing the hands to heart center. Take a big breath in, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, just turn the head to the left. Trying to keep everything impervious. Take one more inhale, lengthen, and then this time exhale, start twisting the torso to that left side. Good. Inhale, lengthen once more and find those points of leverage. So now the right hand goes to the outside of the left thigh. Left hand comes behind us. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, use that leverage to deepen the twist. Keep the gaze turned back. And take one more deep breath. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to twist. And then in that hold, breathing freely, noticing where the air is going, keeping the spine long, digging your sits bones towards the floor. We start going into that lateral stretch. So pointing the left fingertips away from you, keep reaching long. Keep that length through the spine as we start taking it up and over, flipping the palm. Keep that twist so your gaze is up towards the ceiling. We have 3 breaths here, anchoring those sits bones right back down. Think of that connection rooting down, sacral chakra. Feeling embodied, connected to the earth that serves and supports us. Good. And then use that next inhale as if somebody was drawing you, pulling you up to the heavens. Keep that length going. Bring the other arm up to meet it. Find that length once more. This time interlace 8 fingers. Take a big breath in. Turn the palms up. And we're going to hollow it all out with a nice big exhale, open mouth. So inhale to lift. And then exhale, round and curl. Press the palms away. Big exhale through the mouth. Let me hear you from here. Inhale, take it one more time. Inhale, lengthen. And exhale, big exhale. Ha. And take it one more time up, but this time we're going to stay upright. And then exhale, release the hands and just let that melt down to the floor. Extend the legs long in front of you. Good. Send those heels away and sit up as tall again as possible in this Dandasana. Now, if the hamstrings are tight, you can always elevate the knees, maybe with support, maybe with a cushion, maybe with a block. So if you have something at home like this, or a foam roller, you can always place it right under the knees and give yourself a little extra space, a little extra kindness. But from here, press the floor away, inhale, and then exhale. Just let your body drape over the legs and just see where you are right now. Now, if you're in a seated position, right, you can just plant your feet into the floor and fold over there. Who knows, you might even touch the floor with your hands. But wherever you are, We're finding a nice little stretch, maybe in your lower back as well. On your next exhale, let the head completely drop, and you want to keep your hands supported on the floor. That's going to give you a little extra room so you can bring the chin to the chest again and keep lengthening the back of the neck. Feel that length all the way from the crown down to your tailbone, down through the backs of the legs, and maybe even your heels. And we start unfurling vertebrae by vertebrae, right back up. Good. One last thing for us to try here. Now the knees, keep that nice little bend right there. Hands off to the side and let both knees drop over to the right. Feel any sensations in the leg, especially this trailing one. That's your internal rotation. This one drops open, external rotation, and then take it up and over to the other side. Notice how one hip is coming off the floor, and that's completely fine. Now you will find yourself traveling with this, but that's okay because we're moving on here very soon. And take as many of these as you'd like. When you get to the end, go ahead and stack one leg on top of the other, and this prompts us ready so we can bring the legs under us, come to all fours, take the path of least resistance. I'll meet you back on the mat in all fours position. Right, so we are in this all fours position. Wrists are right under the shoulders, knees right under the hip bones, tops of the feet on the mat. Starting with cat and cow. So for cow, think about expanding the chest, sending the sternum forward, taking the gaze forward, letting the back arch, taking your tailbone up to the ceiling, and we create as much space as possible in the front of the midsection. Getting ready to exhale, push the floor away with your hands as your solar plexus or your belly button starts trying to raise up towards the ceiling as we bring the chin to chest, as we tuck the tailbone under, as we send the crown to the floor. Full contraction, and continue on expansion through cow. Big inhale, contraction through cat like a Halloween cat. If you want to add your feet to this, you would inhale, tuck the toes under, exhale, tops of the feet to the mat. Let's take 4 more breath cycles of these. Really inviting movement, inviting experimentation. So maybe you're going to send your attention more to your shoulder blades and feel that expansion and contraction of that little space between the shoulder blades. Maybe this is more of a spiritual change where you feel that distinction between closing yourself off and opening. But wherever you are, give yourself one more cycle. And we have our first strength challenge coming up here. So finding a neutral spine, and neutral spine is pretty much that perfect spot between both extremes, and it looks different on everybody. But once you tuck the toes under, press into the floor and float the knees off the floor. Now this position does require more effort, so maybe the breathing becomes a little more labored, a little more intense. This is where we walk up to that edge and see where we are. We'll find our first downward dog. On the next exhale, sending the hips up, sending the knees up, letting the head drop, and you've arrived. And you can pedal the heels, lowering one and then the other. And on this first one, allow movement to happen because your body is visiting this for the first time today, and maybe things are different, or maybe this is the most different downward dog that you've done. It feels completely different and alien, just like the world today. But little by little, we're coming out of this So you can start walking your feet to your hands and your hands to your feet very safely, very comfortably for our first forward fold. Letting the head completely drop to the floor. Take a moment here and just let it all go. Imagine a drop of water that started right about at your sacrum, at your tailbone, and it's falling down your back, passing the lower back, making its way down that little ridge where the spine is, all the way down to that spot between the shoulder blades, over the back of the neck, over the back of the head, dropping, cascading down to the floor. And we start taking a little bend of the knee. It's going to help us shift the weight onto the entire foot, pushing the floor away. Tuck the tailbone under and start unfurling the spine little by little, vertebrae by vertebrae, until we arrive at standing, and we take all the time that we need. Once the gaze is forward to the horizon, you can roll the shoulders back, bringing the hands to heart center. And you take a deep breath in here. And just notice now any sensations in the body. And I invite you here maybe to soften and straighten the knees a few times. Shift the weight forward and back. Make sure all your foot meat is on the mat. And once you get to that sweet spot, take a big inhale, lengthen the crown towards the ceiling. Exhale, relax the shoulders down. 3 breaths in mountain pose. And just check in. How are you doing? How are you today? One more breath. And let the hands rest to the sides. On your next inhale, start bringing the arms up. Bring the palms together. Start taking that shape down through heart center. Start bringing chin to chest. Rolling down vertebrae by vertebrae. And then walking the hands forward. Once you can support yourself on the hands, start walking the feet back. Sending the hips towards the floor. We find a plank position. More fire to build here in the body. One more opportunity to visit that edge of what we are capable of. I ask for 3 breaths here, but feel free to stay a little bit longer if your body asks for it. Take one more breath. And this time lower the knees down to the mat. Bring the feet to mat width apart, tops of feet to the mat, finding a child's pose. Bringing your bottom towards your heels and letting the head completely drop. Letting the elbows melt to the floor if that is available. Sometimes it takes a little wiggling and wriggling to find it. But once you find your comfort, start sending deep, deep breaths into the backs and sides of the rib cage. Notice how on every inhale that expands. Notice how the belly drops to the floor when we inhale. And when it's time to exhale, all this extra yummy space makes itself available for us, no matter where we started. Use your next inhale to take the gaze forward. Walk the hands over to the right. Draw the hips to the left. And melt back down to your mat. Take 2 deep breaths there. On your next inhale, again lengthen through the spine. Walk the hands out to the left. And draw that shape down as well. Use your next inhale to take yourself forward. Bring the hands right in front of us. We shift the weight back forward. Bring the knees back to hip width apart. Tuck the toes under. And yet again, we found another downward facing dog. On this one, we'll find some stillness. A good way to get there is taking a big breath in and coming up high, high, high to your tippy toes. And then exhale, press the heels down. Let's try that one more time. Inhale, lift the heels. And then exhale, let the heels drop. This time, we're going to fire walk the feet up to the hands. Now, the idea is to take these steps, little bitty steps, keeping the legs straight as possible. Now, from here, start tucking the tailbone under. Bring the navel up to the spine as much as we can. And then you'll notice your gaze starts going forward, forward, forward. Soften through the knees, and our backs are trying to get as straight as possible, just making room for our legs. It has more to do with our proportions. And guess what? Everyone is different. Plant the hands on the thighs and follow along with that alignment. We're already in a flat back. Ardha Uttanasana, halfway lift. Strong through the core, strong through the lower back. Push the entire foot into the floor and then exhale, forward fold. We're going to try this one with a little more strengthening. So inhale, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, bring the hands to the hips. Take that next inhale all the way up to standing. Relax the hands down, mountain pose. Samastitihi. Deep breath in, deep breath out. From Samastitihi, inhale, bring the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands down. Walk the feet back to that plank position. Hold it right there. Good. This time, going to lower our bodies to the floor. So if we want to lower the knees to get a little more stability, that's welcomed right now. Start bending through the elbows and take yourself all the way down. We all meet up with the tops of the feet on the mat, fingertips under the shoulders. And we practice packing in the scapula by drawing the shoulders away from the ears. Feel the connection between the bottom angle of your shoulder blades and your waistband and your hips. On your next inhale, start lifting the head, start lifting the back of the neck and the shoulders. For baby cobra, taking the gaze forward towards that horizon. Keep pressing the tops of the feet. Magnetize the space between the inner thighs. Take one more breath in. Lift, 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 and then exhale. Fold forward. Let's try that one more time. Inhale without pressing into the hands too much. Send the gaze forward and lower. And on this next one, bringing the palms towards the floor, right along the sides of the body. Open the chest. Feel your upper back fire up as we start lifting head and neck. Shoulders. Slide those shoulder blades towards the hips. Taking the hands off the floor. Gaze is forward. Feet come off the floor. For a locust. Keep opening the chest. We have 3 breaths here. Notice how the body might want to rock a little bit on the inhale and the exhale. That's okay. Allow that in. Good. A little extra challenge for those of us seeking to strengthen through the shoulders and the arms. See if you can gently start bringing the fingertips straight forward. Keep that length through the spine. Keep the gaze forward. Moving slow motion. Use the inhale to take one more lengthen, 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 and then exhale, melt down to the floor, full prostration. Chin, nose, or forehead on the floor. Palms down to the floor. And if you didn't do that option of bringing the arms forward, just start sliding them to the place where I have them right now. And take a deep inhale, deep exhale. In this position, individuals might feel some relief of lower back pain. Maybe you can sense how that air fills the lungs and allows the rib cage to expand back. And we're going to very gently and very safely transition from here to a child's pose, so you can slide the hands back to under the shoulders, take the gaze forward, push the floor away, let your bottom come off the floor. This time bringing the legs together so that you can feel this more in your lower back. Let the hands rest by your heels and let the head make its way to the floor. Now, if your back is tight and this is a little too intense, you can always take a yoga block under your head. But be mindful to have it on the right level, because you might overdo it and actually put pressure on the back of your neck. Take one more breath here. And then we start unfurling the spine, vertebrae by vertebrae, taking it right back up. Inhale, bring the arms up. Big inhale, reach, reach, reach. Exhale, bring the hands to heart center. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, twist to your right side. Getting that leverage from those points of contact like we did a little earlier. Inhale, take it up and over. Exhale, twisting to the opposite side. Inhale, up and over. Exhale, plant the hands down. Tuck the toes under. Downward facing dog. Deep inhale. Deep exhale. Deep inhale. Deep exhale. And this time, if you like jumping to Uttanasana, go ahead and do that. Otherwise, take those same walks, lengthen the spine, halfway lift, forward fold, and reverse swan dive. All the way up. Fingertips reach the ceiling. Bring it back down to heart center, and we move on. With the hands down by your sides, start letting the hips jet back so much that your torso tips forward. Now you can see what your knees are doing. Keep bending the knees and make sure they're tracking right over your toes. Now keep bending the knees. Now we're trying to pick something up off of the floor, right? Maybe your fingertips skim the floor. Maybe that's not what we're trying to do today, but little by little, keep reaching those fingertips forward, forward, forward. Maybe you get to a low angle. Maybe your arms are parallel to the floor. Good. Plug the shoulders back. Exhale, sink just 1 inch deeper into that chair pose. Keeping a neutral spine. Inhale, and then exhale, drawing the navel towards the spine, getting that nice strength through the core. And on your next inhale, we're going to take it all the way up. Big explosion. Exhale, bring the hands down by your sides. Going in one more time. Legs hip bone width apart. Start drawing back as the torso hinges forward. Fingertips reaching towards the floor, and we sweep them forward until the gaze is straight in front of us. Good. Give yourself the opportunity to dial the shoulders back, and on the next inhale, send the fingertips now up towards the ceiling. Allow your shoulder blades to come off the back and just reach freely, freely, freely. Find that length through the spine, remembering the sensation in the upper back, just like when you did your baby cobra. And take one more breath here. Deep breath in Deep breath out, and once more, take a big opening here, welcoming back bend if that's what feels good to you. And when you finish that, maybe roll the shoulders back, just find a reset. Going into a balance pose. Taking it from here, start shifting the weight over to your left foot as you draw the right knee in. This is balance, but it's not stillness. We try to receive this challenge with equanimity without any judgment or prejudice of how our balance is. It's an experiment, and we see what happens today. Transitioning with the warrior 3, finding a crescent lunge. So bring the hands to heart center and start tipping the upper body forward as we start sending the leg back. And send the leg back, send the leg back. And soften that front knee so we can safely place the left foot on the mat. And coming up to our crescent lunge, raising the arms up towards the ceiling, letting the shoulder blades move freely in the back to get just some more space. Big breath in, exhale, allow the shoulders to relax down, letting go of any tension here. Also a few things, bending through both knees, feeling again that fire in the thighs, and then trying to straighten that back leg just a little bit. And we take one more breath here. And opening up to our warrior 2. So the peeling that right hip open, letting the right heel draw towards the floor, foot ends up at an angle, arms come out to a T, and we hold this position here. You have 3 breaths. Reaching the fingertips away from one another, we hold this just for a moment. I like to say get as broad as you can. You're taking up all the space, reaching your energy out to the sides. And take one more breath here. Deep breath in, deep breath out. And going into extended side angle, bringing the hands through heart center, start tipping over, and that front leg is going to feel a lot of fire. Now try to keep your back on the same plane so that we're not tipping forward or back. If you reach the point where you can get that elbow on the thigh, great. Otherwise, feel free to place your hand where it may land. If you've arrived here, go ahead and rotate up, and we hold this. Deep inhale, deep exhale. Option to raise the arm so as to open the chest towards the ceiling, get that sensation of all the air going into the rib cage, feeling that lovely expansion. And on your next inhale, return back to a warrior 2. Take a breath here, and on the next inhale, straighten both legs. Reverse warrior with the legs straightened, flipping the front palm up. We reverse our movement, taking a lateral stretch, and from that lateral stretch, tipping yourself towards the ceiling, maybe only just a quarter of a way. Noticing all the sensations in the midsection here, only taking it as far as you want to go today. And on our next inhale, we come back to those warrior 2 arms. Now that the legs are straight, we are fully prompted for Trikonasana, or triangle pose. So bumping the hips back, 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 we send the right arm forward, forward, forward. When we can't reach anymore, see if you can tip over. Now keeping the shoulders in line with the spine, we might not get as far, so we trick a little bit. Now the bottom hand can be on the inner thigh, doing some leverage, so we open up towards the ceiling, or it could be on a block, or it could be on a chair. If you want more of a challenge, you can take that bottom arm and just wrap it around your waistband, and now you're using your core the whole time. Take one more breath here. Deep inhale, whatever level works for you. And on your next inhale, take it all the way up. Good. Now with both legs straight like this, heel toe that back foot in, 1 or 2 paces, allowing the toes now to angle a little bit more towards the front of your mat. Turn the hips forward and you'll have a bunch of sensations in that back leg. Take a deep inhale and exhale. Start folding forward for pyramid. See how far forward we can reach where the spine is long, and just pause there for a moment. Take one more inhale before you drape your upper body over. And it's a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And one more breath here. And transitioning to a deep lunge. So start shifting the weight forward, pivoting over the ball of the foot. Feel free to step that foot back just a little bit more so you can lower the hips and get a little stretch. Now we're going to keep this strong, so don't fall into just yet. We'll be sinking and letting go very shortly. But for now, stay right here. Nice long position. We're going to use this strong position to transition into a standing split. So set your sights about a foot in front of that front foot. Know that you can push into the ball of the foot of the back foot, strong through the front foot. Let's give a countdown. 3, 2, 1. Shift the weight forward, float the back leg up, and enjoy a stretch here. And take this yogi's choice in the sense that do what feels good. If your hip is open and that feels good to you, then that's where you want to be. If you're playing with balance, maybe you can let go of the floor here and enjoy that. Good. Remember how we started with that knee up? Let's try to get there again. So start bringing that knee towards the body. Maybe you make a pit stop on the floor. Maybe you can smoothly take yourself up. Bring the knee up for a moment. And lower it down. Take a deep breath in. Bringing the hands through heart center. And let's all together share a vinyasa. Take it at whatever pace you'd like. Take deep breath in. Deep exhale. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, place the hands down. Walk the feet back to your plank position. Lower the hips, lower the knees, untuck the toes, and open the chest forward. Upward facing dog. Tuck the toes under, send the hips up. Downward facing dog. Stay here for 3 breaths. Walk or jump the feet up to the hands. Notice that nice long spine meeting you at the top of your mat. Halfway lift. Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, forward fold. And we reverse sound dive all the way up. Bringing the arms up towards the ceiling and down to heart center. Take 2 or 3 breaths here. So shifting the weight over to your right foot. Start bringing your left foot off the mat. And you take a moment here for your balance. Big breath in, big breath out, and whenever you feel it's time and you've been here for a little bit, start sending the weight forward as you shoot the heel back. Just as a transition, because right there you can drop the heel and you're ready to go. There you go, superstar. Deep breath in, deep breath out. And take one more breath here, again, lengthening through the back leg, drawing the hips under the shoulders, open the chest, strong. Opening this pose to a warrior 2. So I invite you to start taking that left arm back as we open the left hip back, spiraling the back heel down so that now left foot is at an angle. And bring the arms out to a T. And take one more breath. Finding our extended side angle. So cross that arm over the chest as we lean up and over. Taking that movement bit by bit, not taking any section for granted. And if we are able to get the forearm on that front leg, you can keep it there. Now peel yourself open. Maybe sending hand up towards the ceiling. Extended side angle. Taking deep breaths here. Pressing both feet entirely into your mat, connecting with the floor. And on your next inhale, return to warrior two. Straighten both legs and we pause for a moment, lengthening here, reaching out to the sides. Flip the front palm up and we reverse it to that lateral stretch to the back. From there, open the chest slightly towards the ceiling, towards the sky. Enjoying every bit of that expansion through the rib cage and returning to that warrior two position in the arms. From here, going into Trikonasana. So bumping the hips towards the back of the mat, reaching the hand forward, forward, forward. When we can't reach anymore, we tip over, seeing if we can meet something to support us at the bottom arm. It's going to give us leverage to peel ourselves open for triangle. Feeling free to place this bottom hand on a block or maybe wrapping it around your midsection for more of a core challenge. And on that next inhale, making your way back up. From here, we heel toe that back foot in, 1 or 2 paces, sending the toes now forward just a little bit more, allowing the hips now to travel to face the front of your mat. The feet are going to shift a little bit. Be okay with that. Give yourself the space and the opportunity to live in every asana we perform. Start hinging forward with the spine nice and long. Take it as far as you can with that length through the spine. Feeling the release as you exhale and completely unfurl. Letting the head hang heavy. Enjoying this deep stretch. And you have one more breath here. Before we start pivoting that back heel up, now the legs are back to parallel. Bend that front knee. Going into a deep lunge. Feel free to slide the back foot back if that feels good to you. Keeping this very powerful, keeping this very strong, pressing the floor away with our points of contact with the ground. And preparing for standing split. Take your gaze to the spot where your hands are going to land and shift the weight forward. Let the back leg float up. Take this for your personal enjoyment. So again, if you want to open the hips, if you want to shift things around, if you even want to tap the foot down, enjoy this as your own. We have a challenge coming up here with balance. So whenever you feel it's time, we start drawing that knee in. Take your gaze straight down to the floor as we start tipping back up, little by little. Knee comes straight forward. Big smile. And lower one knee next to the other. Take a deep breath in. And let the arms come down to heart center. Take 2-3 breaths there. Big breath in, big breath out. And we'll move on. All right, my friends. So we are making progress. So let's continue on with a groin stretch. So For this stretch, you want to sit with your legs. So for this stretch, you want to sit with your legs a little further apart than what's comfortable. So you'll definitely feel something in the groin area. So just keep sliding the legs out until you feel you've arrived. And you'll know you've arrived because you feel a stretch already here, maybe like a 3 on a scale from 1 to 10. From here, place your hands on the sides right here and lift the chest. And we want to ensure that we're sitting right on the center of the sits bones. If you're seated behind the sits bones, your tailbone's going to drop here. So again, shift it, makes your back go nice and straight, and then you can place the hands now right in front of you. Once we arrive here, keep that length through the spine and hinging at the hips without letting the back round. Start walking your hands forward. Now what's going to happen is that we're not going to be able to go very far. We're going to be a little bit surprised even that we can get as far as we wanted to. Once you get to that deepest position for you, maybe now a 6 or a 7 on a scale from 1 to 10, take a look at your toes, at your feet, and see if you can angle the toes and the knees up towards the ceiling. And maybe that is the extent of our stretch today. Inhaling to lengthen through the spine. Exhaling, maybe drop a little bit more. We have a nice reward at the end of this, but keep this strength going for one more breath. One more exhale. Again, knees and toes up towards the ceiling. Can you see that? It's shaking. Okay, and then inhale one more time, and on the next exhale, relax the feet. All the shaking is gone. Maybe allow the back to round, and you're just gonna fold forward as gently, as comfortable as possible, without any expectations, just feeling the sensations in the body without any care to form. Right now, your attention should be on what your body needs and what your body is feeling and what feels good for your body right now. And take one more breath there. And when you're ready, start unfurling the spine little by little. Shake the legs out maybe, but we're coming back to that Dandasana starting position. We were here earlier. Let's see how things feel now. So just inhale, take the arms up, and then exhale, just let it all go. If you can grab the tops of your feet, draw the toes up towards the ceiling. If you have a yoga strap, you can wrap it around, right? Maybe come up a little bit higher, but wherever you are, again, taking deep breaths in and then exhaling, feeling the sensations in the body. So we have one more strengthening pose before we lay down and take our spinal twists and wrap it up. So let's talk about Navasana boat pose. Come back up. Good. Plant the hands down, tops of the feet to the mat, and we're going to do boat pose. So same thing applies here, right? You want your sits bones to be right on the floor, right? And you want to be sitting right smack dab at the center of them, right? If you fall back, your back is going to round. It's going to turn into a different exercise, right? So keep the spine long. Now with the spine long, catch right under your knees. Keep that length in the spine. And from there, just tip back. Now, this might be a new sensation. When we're trying to keep the spine long, all kinds of alarms are going to start going off in the body. Maybe your hip flexors cramp up. Maybe your back cramps up. Maybe you shake a little bit. So maybe this is a good place to stop. Maybe we can rock. Ooh, Ooh, I lost it there. Ah! All right, try again. Maybe we can rock, keep that spine long. Oh, not, nope, we don't have it. Maybe rock back. Ooh, maybe rock back. Keep the spine long. Stay right here. Option to let go of the legs. Option to straighten the legs. But wherever you are, you have 3 breaths. Deep inhale, deep exhale. Good, one more breath. And bring the tops of the feet, hug the knees into the chest, and lengthen through the spine. And that should feel really nice. Get a little bit of relief there. That was really hard for me. Okay, let's move on. So we just came back from boat pose, and now we're going down to the floor. So that's the good news. We're gonna get there in this little funny way I like to do sometimes. So with the feet planted down, bring those hands right into the knees once more, and we're gonna take cat and cow here. So it's an inhale, lengthen through the spine, open the chest, maybe take the gaze up, and then exhale, rock to the back of those sits bones, tuck the tailbone under, cat. Maybe bring the chin to chest. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, round and curl. Here's the last one. So inhale, lengthen, listen up. And then exhale, round and curl. Release the hands from behind the knees. And keep rolling down vertebrae by vertebrae, letting every single vertebrae arrive in its due time, little by little, until the head touches the floor. Once it does, take a big good morning stretch, reaching the arms overhead, pointing the toes. Reach, reach, reach. And then exhale, just melt down to the floor. Just plop it all down. Take a moment here. How do you feel with that gaze inwards, connecting to all the sensations in the body and those points of contact with the floor? And then little by little, preparing for bridge, bringing the arms down by the sides, planting the feet back down about hip width apart. And you'll know, because if you peek for your feet, you see a little sliver of angle, that you know you're doing it right. Take a big inhale, and on your next exhale, start sending the knees away from your body, letting the hips rise up towards the ceiling, expanding that front hip crease. And you take breaths to slowly come up, and you're welcome to stay right here, right where you are. But if you want to add that bind, interlace the hands behind your back, walk the shoulder blades together, draw the pinkies as you lift your hips up just a little bit higher. Magnetize the space between the inner thighs, sending the knees away. And take one more deep breath there before we start moving the shoulder blades back into place and letting the spine unfurl vertebrae by vertebrae, little by little. Once the tailbone arrives at the floor, walk the legs so that they're mat width apart. Bring the arms to a low V and let the legs windshield wiper from side to side. And this one is super interesting because we can feel it in so many different places. I'm feeling it over the cross of the front of my hip as that trailing leg comes down. But see if you can keep the movement fluid, and that's how you'll know your range. Keep the movement nice and easy from one side to the other. And then next time the legs come up through center, bring one knee into the chest, bring the other knee up to meet it. Maybe rock from side to side, getting ready for our spinal twist. Arms come out to a T. Let the legs fall over to the right, turning your head to the left. And just melting on the exhale. You're welcome to put the right hand over that left thigh. Use every exhale to melt and connect with the floor just a little bit more. We'll stay here for another 30 seconds or so. That puts you at about 5 or 6 deep, slow breaths. So enjoy. And when it's time to come over to the other side, bring your arms to the end. We're just going to tiptoe the legs over, back to center. Bring both knees back into the chest, one leg at a time. Just give them a nice little hug before we let the arms come back out to a T and let the legs drop over to the left side. Taking an inhale, taking an exhale. Allowing the rib cage to expand on the inhale and then letting the body just melt down to the floor on the exhale. And then gently again, we start tiptoeing back to center, preparing for final resting pose, Shavasana. So let all that fidgeting, all that movement start leaving the body. We're seeking complete stillness here, allowing the legs to extend out, allowing the feet to plop open. Spread the collarbone wide open. Acknowledging those points of contact between your body and the floor. Allow the breath to just find its way without anything left to do. We rest. Stay here for as long as you'd like.